Here we go. It is Jacob Warren of the Vols, tight end extraordinaire. You know that already. And he's wearing a super cool shirt that look at that.
There
I
we
like
go.
that. And I asked you about that, and you said that was part of your FCA group, which I know you're very involved with. So how cool is that?
Yeah, very cool. It's backwards on the screen, but it says 110, stands for Galatians 110, which is just a verse about living in community and about pouring into each other, and that's kind of what we try to do. And yeah, we got these shirts made, and they're really cool. They got little hoods on them. Hold on, there you go. So
Well,
yeah,
if you run across an extra one, I'm down to an XL. I was maybe a 2X when we met.
yeah,
Just an XL now. I'm just saying.
there we go. Right direction. That's good. We'll see if I can find one.
Yeah, well, I will wear it proudly. How much do you? There's a lot of things I want to get into. I want to talk a little bit of Nico. I want to talk Hendon Hooker. I loved him at the NFL Combine. How confident he came across.
Yeah.
But um, I do want to talk about what you do with the community and how rewarding that is, and with FCA. When did you feel like was it as a freshman, or did it take some maturity that you wanted to be the type of guy who gives back in some shape, form, or fashion?
Um, I think that kind of I'm not gonna say it's been part of just who I am for forever, right? But throughout high school, my church did a good job of trying to implement these things of serving and essentially having this servant mindset when it comes to our community engagement and all these things. So in high school and middle school, served at one of the Boys and Girls Clubs. Just kind of went and like hung out with them and played football and basketball and dodgeball and then would share like a little word, a little Bible study with them. And that was something that was put on through the church. Did a couple little like mission trips and stuff throughout middle school. Not really crazy anything, but we would just travel somewhere in the United States and try to serve churches, local churches that are just trying to grow and the local communities. So did a little bit of that. But yeah, man, just I think that every single time when I was growing up, that I would serve or that I would do something where whether we're dealing with homeless or with just people that aren't necessarily as fortunate as I was, I always just realized how much it did for me. You know what I mean? Rather than we're doing things for other people, but it also did a lot for me mentally, just personally, just to kind of I don't want to say humble yourself because I'm no different than any of the people that I'm serving, right? But yeah, just to kind of put things in perspective and to just remember that I'm super blessed and very happy to be where I am. So now, anytime that I have the opportunity to do that and serve and help, I think it's good for both reasons. It helps the people that we're serving, but also helps me in a way as well, which is great.
Love it. Give the church a shout out. Is there a pastor you want to give a shout out as well?
So yeah, I grew up going to First Baptist Concord, which is a church in Farragut, Tennessee. Now I kind of am around City Hills and like go to different things and watch a lot of stuff online. Um, but yeah, John Mark at First Baptist has been great in the recent years. Had a great pastor. He's passed away, Doug Sager. If you're in the Knoxville area and you know anything about him, then he was great, man, growing up. But yeah, it's been
And
awesome.
that now you got Chris Walker, of course, with FCA, and he's
Awesome.
fantastic. I covered him
Yeah.
back in the day. Loved him. Love his mom, Gloria. They're
Oh yeah. Yeah.
they're absolutely great, great
Very
people.
much.
So I'm watching this NFL Combine stuff,
Mhm.
and first of all, I think it's awesome that Hendon Hooker goes to the Senior Bowl, that he goes to the Combine when he can't participate. But there's something to be said for showing your face, and not everybody does that. And then he talks to the media, Jacob, and he says the words "me" and "I" some, and he's talking about how much he has to process and how there are multiple reads in your offense. And it wasn't braggadocious, it was just honest. And
Mhm.
here's the guy who's deflected any credit all year long. And I heard that. And I will tell you, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Because people like that's the thing about Hendon, man, is first of all, just the fact that you said good, great, he went to the Reese's Bowl, great, he went to the combine. Man, I would almost argue that him going and the things he was able to do and to participate in are probably the most valuable things that he has, right? The way that he's able to talk, the way he can show his leadership through just his stories and just the way that he handles situations like that is second to none. So I think, him being able to do that was awesome, and I'm sure he impressed just as many people with that as he would have with his play. Um, but then, yeah, just kind of, man, he's got. I've said this before. Like Hendon's a competitor, man. He really is, a dog. People use that term, dog. He's a dog, whatever. Like he's a go getter, man, and he isn't afraid to tell you, right? Like he's confident in himself, and then he was very confident in this team, and obviously, the comment that he made about, well, my guy was always open. Like I might not have to work through progressions because if my guy's open, I'm gonna throw him the ball. Like that just makes sense, right? And it's so factual. Like it's just how it was. And people might look at that as a fault or whatever, but he did a good job of just kind of humbly bragging about the fact that yeah, if my guy was running wide open, why would I not throw it to him? So
Yeah, it's funny because this goes before your time, but there was Coach Tedford at Cal, and he coached a guy named Aaron Rodgers,
yes,
and like 2 or 3 quarterbacks before Aaron Rodgers didn't do well, so they said Aaron Rodgers was a system quarterback, so he fell to the bottom of the first round. Still not a bad place to be picked.
yeah, right.
But are you guys ready for that? Because Hendon's going to get that. Jalen Hyatt's going to get that. I mean, that they're going to say system first and ask you about that when you go through the draft process. I promise you.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it, but I think that at the end of the day, man, you cut on the film and you watch Jalen Hyatt and just the things that he's doing, regardless of whether it's the system that's working for him or whatever. The fact that he can, just make big plays, the fact that he can, make reads within his routes, and the fact that he can purely just run right by people, that's something you can't, I mean, you can't just just whatever, push that to the side and not pay attention to that. Like that is what made him a good player here was the fact that he had all those attributes. Hendon Hooker, his decision making, his, his poise, his ability to escape and go make plays on his feet. The throws that he's able to make has nothing to do with the plays that are running. It's purely based on his work ethic and what he puts into the game. So yeah, I think that you'll always be kind of put in that box, whatever. But I think that obviously Aaron Rodgers, man, like one of the better ones to do it. So I think that it kind of just goes to show, like, man, as long as you have talent, you have skill, and are able to mentally handle the game, I think that the whole system thing is kind of whatever to me.
Well, let me play NFL GM for a second, or scout if you don't care, because you're getting ready to go through this, so maybe this will be beneficial for both of us.
Okay, right. Let's see.
Mind you, it's brought to you by Vassy Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it's worth the drive. Right there in Cleveland, close drive to Knoxville, Nashville, or Chattanooga for industrial mowers, commercial mowers. And I'm telling you, they're at a whole different level in terms of buying power. They will save you money. All right, so a scout's going to sit down. He's going to kind of try to intimidate you a little bit because he's got your future in his hands, so to speak.
Yeah.
He's going to say, "All right, Jacob, you caught 70 passes for 1,000 yards in 2023, but really, how much of it was the system?"
I'm the one that caught the balls, right? I don't know. That's what I was. I mean, that's probably not what I would say, but
You
yeah,
probably should. Maybe you
probably
should.
should. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like if I'm in a position to catch a ball and it's up to me to catch the ball, to turn, to run, to make people miss, to score. That's all up to me. You can't put a robot out there. You probably could nowadays. What I mean? You can't just put anybody out there and be able to do it. Um, so yeah, the system has helped me get to where I'm at, but it was me making those plays, and I think the people around me helped me do it. So
I look at Joe Milton, and I saw a guy who just threw darts on slants and stuff over the middle and
yeah.
that sort of thing. And I wonder, whereas Hendon Hooker threw one of the most beautiful deep balls I've ever seen,
hmm
how flexible is the system to take advantage of individuals' best abilities?
I think that that's what it's built around, man. It's truly built around putting the right guys in the right places. You know what I'm saying? If it's whether it's putting me in an opportunity to catch a ball across the middle whenever I can use my a big body, broad shoulders, long arms. It's going to be hard for a DB to play through that. Whether it's using that or whether it's using Jalen Hyatt's speed or using said size on the outside or any system right of offense, if it's good, is going to play the strengths of its players. It's not just going to be this cookie cutter, you know what I mean? Do this every time, do that. If it's this, do this. Like there needs to be the ability to kind of be able to freestyle in a way and play to your strengths. And I think that, our system does a really good job of that. You allow Joe Milton to, sometimes like load it up and throw that ball, 65, 70 yards. to Squirrel White, who's the fastest kid on the team, the fastest kid on the field, and like that just makes sense. But the fact that you're able to also slow it down, you know what I mean, and maybe throw some little flat routes or whatever to your big tight ends, or get the running back out in the flat and let him just go to work in open space, because we have a lot of really good backs that are really dynamic and can make people miss and can catch the ball. Like the fact that you're able to do so many things is kind of what led to us being the number one offense last year. So
And I loved what you guys did with Joe's accuracy over the middle too. I think that's as a tight end. I mean, you've got to be excited because a lot of your passes are going to be in the intermediate route.
yeah, and that's where we want the ball, right? We want to catch that ball. We want to be moving the chains. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm more than comfortable, running a route, and understanding that I'm not necessarily maybe breaking away from everybody, right? I make my break and I'm cutting inside. Like that DB might be right there in my hip, but the fact, God made me 6'6" and 255 pounds to be able to go and catch those balls and not worry about a DB on my back and be able to fight through contact and be able to catch that ball. Whereas, maybe one Squirrel White, who is much faster than me, he might not come down with that because that's a contested catch and that's whatever. So, um, yeah, just being able to do all different types of things and then play to each other's strengths is really what we got to do.
So you guys have a pro day coming up, and there's
Yeah.
going to be scouts walking around all over the place. And I've been there where there were literally more than 50, 60, 70 scouts.
Yeah.
I've been there where there's 5. Okay, but there's going to be a lot this year.
Yep.
So you bump into that one of those NFL scouts, and they say, "You're Jacob Warren, right?" And you say, "Yeah."
hmm
And he says, "Why should I take Hendon Hooker with a high draft pick?"
Hendon Hooker took this team from where it was to a 10-2, 11-2 Orange Bowl victory team. Really should have been in the college football playoff. And truthfully, like without someone like Hendon, I mean, I think Joe is very similar to Hendon. But without someone like Hendon, that doesn't happen. You don't have the leadership, you don't have the playmaking ability, you don't have the buy-in from all the guys, and just truly a playmaker and somebody that can really make it happen back there. So that's what I would say.
It's a pretty good answer. Yeah, it's a really good answer, as a matter of fact. So when you get into spring ball, and we'll talk more about that the closer we get, but when you get into spring ball, what's what's your number one goal? Is it jiving with some new offensive coaches that have been shifted around, or is it jiving with a new quarterback, 2 new quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Well, can you kind of describe, maybe compare and contrast those 2 different challenges?
Yeah, man, it's all of that. I think that the coaching side of it is a lot more in the classroom, right? When you're in the class, what we call it the classroom, when you're in the meeting rooms, right? So when we're doing our tight end meetings, our offensive meetings, it's going to be different, right? Like there's different people in front of the room, and there's different people talking. They speak differently. They explain things differently. Um, they have even different ways of installing plays, right? So if we have a slideshow up, and the slides look different, and the drawings look different, and the verbiage is different. So just kind of understanding all those little, minute details of what we're trying to learn, right, from the coaches is going to be big this spring. But also, like you said, seeing who can play. Super excited about that. I think every spring you get a lot of new guys, and they come in, and you kind of question whether they can play or not, or you see glimpses here and there when we're doing stuff on air or doing stuff by ourselves, and you just get excited to kind of see them go compete. And especially as an older guy, I mean, I'm going to get my reps, I'm going to get my time, and I'm going to do what I need to do. But a lot of it is just going to be trying to, bring these young guys along, and get guys like Ethan Davis and McAllen has done a really good job of adjusting, but he's going to have these wide eyes as well whenever we start rolling real fast and we're doing all those different things. And our young guy, or our other guys, Luke and Cody, that are new to the room, right? Like just being able to bring these guys along and just show them like, hey, this is, yeah, like it's real. Like, but this is how we take advantage of teams, and this is what we have to do to be able to be successful. So just, man, that journey and that process of trying to bring guys along, and also trying to develop my game and just trying to add little things to my bag that I can use, when it comes down to it. So just excited for all that.
So I got a little toy here, and it's got these buttons on it. I can press it and make them make audio. It's kind of neat.
Yeah. Go
And
ahead.
yeah, so my co-host, his name's Caleb Calhoun. He struggles a little bit with Nico's last name. Not that I ever would struggle with anyone's last name. Okay.
Iamaleava. Is that it?
Okay. Well, now I actually have it here
Go
from
ahead. Go ahead.
Nico's actual mouth.
Iamaleava.
Ava. Dang it. Iamaleava. That's right. I got it.
Okay, one more time.
Iamaleava.
Iamaleava. There we go.
Garrett. Okay, we both got it. Ia ame lava.
So,
Lava. I'm close.
Iama le. Iama la yava. There it is.
Nico.
Jeez.
Nico, that's what it is. It's
There it
Nico.
is. It's Nico.
Somebody likes to hot rod outside your place.
Yeah.
Like mine.
Every morning. Hold on. No, I'm not going to go on that right now. Don't worry.
No, it's 6:45 every morning at my place.
Every morning, man.
He's really proud of the muffler that he's got on that Mazda.
Yeah,
But there was a national columnist, and I think this is unfair, but I think part of it's NIL and all the hype that's been around him.
Yeah.
He said there have been whispers that maybe Nico is not worth all the hype or the alleged NIL money, which I'm not going to ask you to get into, but that he's not worth the hype. I mean, just your thoughts. What's your immediate reaction to that? He's only been on campus for like 2.5 months.
Right. I don't know what the guy's watched or what he's seen, or if he's been sneaking around our complex or something and has developed this opinion about this kid. You know what I mean? I can't be, because what I've seen is a kid that, man, is excited to learn, is very confident in himself, because, you know what I mean, he should be, right? He should be confident in himself. He's one of the best players in the nation, and you know, a quarterback, generally quarterbacks are that way. So man, like, he has every right to come in and truly, you know, be excited about this opportunity, and you know, take advantage of it. But man, as far as him not being worth the hype, I think that's, you know, first of all, just kind of whatever. Sports writers, I understand this is your profession, but man, like, dude, you're talking about somebody's kid, right? Like, that's kind of, it's just like, it's not fair to say that, because no one's seen him, no one's seen the guy perform. Like, literally no one, except for the people in the building. So man, for as far as me, you know, I'm excited. I'm excited to see him. He's one of the guys that I'm excited to just watch, you know, go out there and just see how he does, man. Does he swim? Does he sink? Does he float? Um, you know, we'll see. But I'm excited for him and his development, and just kind of where he can go. Hopefully he lives up to the hype.
Yeah, well, you've said before he's humble, he's approachable. Coop said he can really sling it. Are there any other new impressions that you have of him? I mean, again, you all even haven't been in pads yet to this point.
No, I think that, like you said, he's humble. He's very easy to approach. Coop said he can throw it. I think that's real, but also something that I've seen from him is just, if he misses a throw or something. Say we're out throwing on a Saturday, or you know, just the wide receivers and stuff are out there throwing with the quarterbacks, and he misses a ball, or he, you know, throws a high, or just off for the day. Very quick to accept the fact that, you know, he's off, or that he just, you know, it's his fault, right? He's not blaming anybody else. He's not, you know, whatever. He truly looks inward and says, like, okay, what do I need to do to fix this? Like, and then you turn around and you see Joe, you know, talking to him about, hey, your lead foot isn't necessarily opened up all the way. Like, you need to get out there to it. Like, I used to struggle with that too, right? Like, just seeing their connection and seeing how, you know, Joe's kind of bringing him along, man, is awesome. And I think that Nico, he'll be just fine.
It's great stuff. He is Jacob Warren. I'm Dave Hooker, brought to you by Bassey Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it is worth the drive. The Vol Report, always fun with Jacob. We greatly appreciate it. Stay tuned, and maybe we'll get a spring break report.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, my AV lady says that you're very good looking, so maybe it's a fantastic spring break. Picking up phone numbers.
Yeah, right. Maybe getting a little tan or something.
Yeah, that's right. He's Jacob Warren. I'm Dave Hooker. A presentation of Off the Hook Sports.